Support everything we do at MWP News by visiting co-fi.com/MWP News. Every donation helps us stay independent. For breaking entertainment news, reviews, and more, check out MWPnews.com. If you love games, head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@MWP for reviews and gameplay. Links for all of this will be in the show notes, as well as links to the other podcasts. Thank you for your continued support. Good afternoon and welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I am Adam. I apologize. I was going to put this up sooner and do this. I've had a series of annoying issues happen in the last, week, which it's just been one thing after another. If you want to help out with any of these issues, you can donate to co-fi.com/MWP News. It would really help. We could really use the financial support. But anyway, let's talk about Frankenstein, the new Guillermo Del Toro movie on Netflix. And I think I made a mistake with this. I think that I made the mistake of going into this movie very late. I did not see it in a theater because the theaters around me don't really show Netflix movies for whatever reason. AMC doesn't do that. So I ended up not seeing it in a theater. I watched it at home, which inherently, we've talked about this before, watching a movie at home is inherently going to harm my enjoyment of it. Regardless of the quality, I'm not going to like it as much as watching it in a theater. Especially something like this that was filmed for the 35mm experience, and even that I would have had to go all the way into Manhattan to see. And look, it's like there were things like Fast Color. Like Fast Color was a limited theatrical release that I went into Manhattan to see back in 2019. It was right before Endgame, and I loved that movie. The difference with that was it wasn't immediately coming out on Netflix like a month later. So, yeah, I'm not going to go in and see that. So I heard a lot about this movie from people who had saw it. They're like, oh my god, this movie is fantastic. It's the greatest thing ever. It's amazing. And it's like, look, Guillermo Del Toro does body horror really well. Everything about this movie is executed really well. I just went into it with much higher standards because everyone was blowing it like it was the greatest movie ever made. And it's like it's great. I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I mean, this is something that I'm sure Peter and I will have a conversation about when we do the year-end rankings, because I'm sure he's going to have it in his top 10. Me probably not likely, in reality. And I liked it. I love Oscar Isaac's performance, although that's just a kind of evergreen statement anytime I see Oscar Isaac in anything. And the same is starting to be true for Jacob Elordi, who I don't quite have as deep of a knowledge on, but he was great in, he was great as Elvis in, what was that movie? Priscilla. Didn't I see him in something else recently? Oh no, I thought I saw him in, what's it called? In, what was that movie called? House of Dynamite, but that was not him. That was, what's it called? That was Jonah Howard King. But him as an actor, I'm starting to really enjoy, and he's growing on me in a way that I didn't necessarily anticipate he would, considering that the crop that came out of Euphoria, I don't know if there, or really anything that showrunner does, I don't know if they necessarily, Sam Levinson's his name, I think, not necessarily, well, really Sydney Sweeney's the only one, but everyone else I kind of, between him and Zendaya are the only two who I found out this week I've been pronouncing her name wrong all this time. It's Zendaya, not Zendaya. So, whoops. But long story short, I really liked Frankenstein. I love the visual style of it. again, Guillermo Del Toro knows how to do that. He knows how to compose a scene. He knows how to direct actors. He knows how to elicit pathos out of people under a lot of prosthetics. This is the movie he was. I forgot what article said it, or maybe I saw it in the TV spot or something, where it's like, this is the movie that Guillermo Del Toro was born to make, and it's like, yeah, I buy that, because like, it is the perfect mix of everything that is required to, like, everything required to make an adaptation of Frankenstein work is something that is within the wheelhouse 100% of Guillermo Del Toro. And that's why this movie works so well. It is an adaptation tailor-made to him. And then you have this cast around him that does it so well. It's like, I think the only other director who could have handled the source material as well is maybe Robert Eggers. And that's a maybe. But I think this is something that was tailor-made for Guillermo Del Toro. And I think he did a fantastic job with this movie. I think he should be nominated for Best Director. And look, it's not lost on me too that like two of his recent movies that I really loved are both like adaptations of movies that were Universal monster movies. Like, I realize Frankenstein predates it by about 100 years, and Mary Shelley is the the queen of science fiction, because we don't have modern science fiction. Like, when we look at the people who build it, Mary Shelley is someone who builds modern science fiction with Frankenstein. But this is something that, for, I would say, modern audiences, I would say the book is probably not where most people have their familiarity with Frankenstein. It's likely the Universal or the Hammer movies, where it was. I think Bela Lugosi played Frankenstein a few times. Peter Cushing played Victor Frankenstein. But I think that's kind of the modern place where this comes from. And I would be. That's what really makes this kind of, what the fuck is going on here? Oh, accident. But yeah, I did really enjoy Frankenstein. It's definitely worth the time to watch. It's one of those things where it's like, this is a recurring issue that I have on this show, where it's like, I see a movie that's so well made, excuse me, that's so well made, so well executed on every conceivable level, that I'm kind of just stuck in like a situation where it's like, how do I talk about this? And I realize that's something that I gotta work on, where it's like, if you go back and listen to the episode that Josie and I did of Exploring Hyperspace Lanes, we talked about, that movie is so good, and it executes so well, that it is, everything that needs to click in that movie clicks perfectly. We cannot, it's hard to talk about, especially this far removed. And granted, Frankenstein just came out like about a month ago, so it's not too far removed, but it is something that I think it's still in that same boat, where this movie is so well made, there's not a ton to talk about. And the other thing is, it's an adaptation of Frankenstein. It's a relatively straight adaptation of Frankenstein from what I remember. I read that book probably like 15 years ago at this point, maybe 20 years ago. Yeah, maybe I was 11 when I read. That sounds about right. It's a relatively short read, but like, what the fuck are you doing? Just get into my lane and stop slowing down to mirror me. What the fuck are you doing? Oh my god, asshole. So, yeah, like, this is one of the things where it's like, it's a straight adaptation of the book. We've seen the book adapted before. This is the best adaptation. Everything that worked, that worked in the book will work here. There were some wonky dialogue options that I was like, okay, this is, feeling like a Netflix thing, where it's like, it's going to be on in another room, so we have to outline things explicitly, and it's like, my specific instruction, or my specific recollection of the book doesn't recall that, but whatever, it is what it is. Mia Goth is great too. I like that Mia Goth has kind of carved out this kind of, like, she's kind of like, I would say, like, I don't want to say modern Jamie Lee Curtis, because Jamie Lee Curtis is really only Halloween, but like, she really is like the modern Scream Queen. She shows up whenever there's a horror movie. She elevates whatever horror movie she's in, and she can play with the material in a way that what's it called, that other actresses don't necessarily have that depth to do, because like she was great in those Ty West movies, Maxine and X, and was there a third one? I don't remember. I know they were making a third one. I don't know if it's out yet. Oh no, there were three. There were three, because there was the prequel, there was X and the prequel, and the prequel was Maxine, and then there was a third one that came out like last year. But she's great there, and again, she does a great job here in this movie. Check out Frankenstein. It's on Netflix. It's definitely worth your time. We will have more stuff this week, I promise. It's just been one thing after another. I apologize. I feel like this is kind of my fault, because anytime I start trying to do things on a more set schedule, or try to announce that schedule, something happens that fucks it up. That's just the way the universe kind of works recently. So, yeah. So here it is. And we were going to do Eternity, but we ended up postponing that indefinitely. I got some cool stuff I'm working on for the YouTube channel. We're going to do Final Fantasy 13. And then 13-2. I had 13 on Steam, and then I bought 13-2 yesterday on the Xbox PC store. And then we'll move through 13, and then we'll move through 13-2. I got through the first 2 chapters last night in like 2 hours. But it's like, oh, holy fuck, you gotta get through a lot of that game before you start getting into like the actual gameplay mechanics. But we'll wrap up there for today. And until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.